Hey everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And this time out, we're going to take a look at the last plugin in the SSL Fusion group of modules here. This is the transformer plugin. Now, if you haven't seen the last 3 or 4 videos that I did, which was the vintage drive, the high frequency compressor, the stereo imager, and the violet EQ, all the links will be in the description box below. When those videos were recorded, at the time, there was only 4 modules here. Since all those videos have come out, the transformer plugin has come out. They didn't all come out at the same time. So I thought I would jump in and I would go ahead and we'd listen to the transformer plugin, tell you about its features, how it's different from the hardware. There's some extra controls here that are not on the hardware unit. And then I'll let you know whether I think it sounds like the hardware, because I do have a real hardware SSL Fusion on my SSL console, and give you my thoughts about that. And then in the follow-up video, we'll use all the plugins together like you would if you were emulating using the hardware. So before we get to that, if you like what you see in this video, please hit that subscribe button, also hit the notification bell. Also, if this is your first time here, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com because I want to give you a free mixing course worth $100. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And if you stick around till the end of the video, I'm going to give you something else for free. Also, if you're into mixing and you want to learn how to mix in a very non-technical way, check out my mixing training website, mixingmadeeasy.net. All the links will be in the description box below. Let's get into Studio One. So here we are, the SSL Fusion transformer. Now, this is a little different than the hardware in that there's more controls on it than what's on the hardware. And we're going to take a look at that. So it's a pretty simple layout here. We have our input meter on the left. We have our bypass button here, this red button. We have our input trim control to drive more signal into the unit. Then in the middle here, we have a nice little meter here for the amount of harmonic distortion we're getting by hitting the transformer. Then we have a couple extra controls that's not on the hardware itself. We have this thing called shine, which adds a little bit of top end to the signal. We have the amount, min, max, of how much of the harmonic distortion you want to hear. And then we have a wet dry knob as well. The other control that's not on the hardware is this low frequency extender. And again, we'll look at the manual in a second. We'll explain what that is. And then we have our output knob, our output trim knob to compensate if you're turning up the input to hit the unit harder. You can turn down the output to compensate. Then we have a meter. We also have a bunch of presets down here, not a bunch, but a few presets to get you started. And then we have our eco mode here, which will use a little bit less CPU. So before we listen to this on our master bus, which is typically how you would use this, let's break out the manual, as I love to do with these things, so you guys can learn what all the controls do. So here's our beautiful transformer user guide here. So as I said, we have our distortion meter here in the middle here, and the distortion meter is an indication of the total harmonic distortion of the signal. Pretty straightforward. The total harmonic distortion has been extracted to the value from 0 to 100. Scaling levels. So the higher you turn this up towards 100, the more THD you're going to get. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, if you want to learn about what the shine control does, it augments or reduces the high-end sheen and the phase shift introduced by the transformer. Values above 100 accentuate the effect beyond the original circuit, and values below them will reduce it. So what is that going to sound like? We're going to listen to it. It basically is going to turn up. It's going to sound like a little bit more high-end frequency information is going to be there. The more we turn this up and the less we turn it down, it's going to kind of roll that off a little bit. The amount here obviously augments or reduces the harmonic distortion. Values above 100 drive the circuit harder, and values below it will drive it less, right? So the more we turn this up and the more we drive the transformer, the more harmonic distortion we're going to get. Then we have our wet dry knob. Pretty straightforward. They give you some tips and tricks that you can use here too, some suggestions. But the best way to do it is just to listen to the darn thing, right? So here we are on our master bus. We have a session here that we've been using for most of these demos here. That you've heard a million times because we don't have to worry about copyright strikes. And so it's a basic track here by Angels and Amplifiers. There's no processing on this at all. I just threw up the faders, balanced it a little bit, and we have this on the master bus. Now, we're also going to listen to this on the actual individual buses as well, because that's one of the things the manual suggests that you can do with this thing. Instead of just putting it on the master bus like you would just with the hardware, you only put it on the master bus, right? But with the plugins, you can put them on all your tracks. So we'll listen to it on 4 or 5 different buses in a second, but right now they're all turned off. Right now, it's just on the master bus. So if I just play this back here from this loop, I'll take it out, then I'll bring it in. We'll tweak some of the knobs and you'll hear what it can do. You want to be listening to this on a good set of headphones or studio monitors to hear the effect because it is subtle. Here we go. Oh, got it on the wrong bus here. Sorry. The master bus, not the vocal bus. Here we go. Let's try that again.
I know the seasons about to change. It's changing all around. I know the reasons you arrange. You're tearing me down. Where does the peacefulness of mine? Where will my heart come back to life? I'm alright as I pick up the pieces that I've left in me. I'm alright.
So you can hear what the sheen does already, right? What our little shine knob does. Puts a little bit of brightness on it. Again, default is kind of at 100, right up the middle.
Feel away from you, and I'll be fine. Cleaning up the corner, put it back in order. You know I will always have this too. A little piece of you.
So you can hear the low frequency extension button adds a little bit more low end into it. I forgot to tell you what that exactly that does here. Let's we could take a look at the manual. Do I have the manual up here? I don't know if I still have it. Hold on, let me get you the manual again. Let's talk about what the low frequency extender does. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What did I do with the darn manual? Here it is. So let's take a look at that again and let's just see what the manual does here, shall we? So the low frequency extension down here is number 4. And if we talk about what's in number 4 here, bypasses the dynamic low frequency roll-off, a natural low end roll-off that occurs as you drive the transformer circuit. So it bypasses the low frequency roll-off. If you want to take the low frequency out so it doesn't push that low frequency information into the transformer circuit. Okay, so that's all it does. So it's going to add a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of low end if you leave it in. It's going to drive things a little bit harder.
Well, I'm alright. That I left in me, I'm alright. Feel away from you, and I'll be fine. Cleaning up the corner, put it back in order. But no, I will always have this too. A little piece of you.
So now you could drive it harder and use the wet dry knob if you wanted to do something like that. If you wanted to max this thing out and then maybe dial back the wet dry knob.
Help me dry on my tears and help me lay on my I know the seasons about to change. It's changing all around. I know the reasons you arrange. You're tearing me down. Where does the peacefulness of mine?
So it's pretty straightforward. It's easy. It's subtle. Sounds pretty cool. It's cool to have the extra controls on here. The hardware is even less subtle, or no, is even more subtle than this. The hardware, when you take the transformer in and out, it's almost inaudible. Now, so the plugin's kind of nice in that you can drive it a little bit harder than what you can with the hardware. The way you drive the hardware harder is by turning up the input and pushing it into the transformer a little bit harder. Out of all the things on the hardware, out of all the different sections of the hardware, the one that I think has the least amount of impact audibly is the transformer, in my opinion. But it's very, very subtle. It's a lot more noticeable here. Now, again, they also have some presets here that you can use, but what they suggest in the manual is that, you could put this across all your tracks, and they recommend that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here. Now I've already put these on the drums, the bass bus, the guitars, the keyboards, and the vocals, and I've already kind of preset them. So what we'll do is we'll turn them all on and off together as a group so you can see what happens. I'll bring up the one from the drums where I push more signal into it and then turn down the output to level match it. So I have level matched them all. At least I think I have. So let's listen to what it sounds like when you put 5 of them on, and now we have the one on the master bus, 6 of them on, and you take them on and off. Let's hear what happens. I don't know. Let's try.
Where will my heart come back to life? I'm alright. As I pick up the pieces that I've left in me, I'm alright. Feel away from you, and I'll be fine. Cleaning up the corner, put it back in order. You know I will always have this too, a little piece of you.
So again, the cumulative effect of it obviously has more impact, and it would, and that would be the way I would suggest you use this. Depending on how big your session is, you could put this on every single track as well. And if you were to do that, you'd probably want to use these settings a little bit more subtly, so it's not this massive effect. So it sounds pretty cool. Does it sound like the hardware? I think it's more audible than the hardware. It's not as subtle as the hardware. I like that the plugin has more controls on it. The hardware transformer, as I said, is kind of it's okay. It adds a little bit of something, but it is super, super subtle. Now, here's the thing that I've said in all these videos so far. As I'm sitting here recording this video, this, like all the other modules for the SSL Fusion, is $199. And as I said in all the other modules, I think that is way overpriced for a single module. The way the SSL Fusion, most people are going to use it, and the way if you're trying to use it like the hardware is you'd probably use this on your master bus. Although with all the modules, you can put them all over your mix. If you wanted to put all 5 modules on every single group track and have like 5 SSL Fusions in your mix, you can do that. So you have more flexibility with the plugin. But to buy a single module for $200, I think is way overpriced. And I've said that in all the other videos. This in and of itself is a great plugin. Is it worth $200? No, not in my opinion. There are other saturation type plugins and transformer type plugins on the market that give you a lot more flexibility, sound equally as good, and for a fraction of the cost. That's my opinion. But I've said that about all the SSL Fusion modules. The reason why they're so expensive is, number one, they're new. Number two, the hardware itself is pretty new. It's probably less than a couple of years old. And that particular hardware box is extremely popular. You can't find a bad review anywhere about it because it sounds great. And I have one, so I can tell you that it does sound great. That's about a $3,000 unit as I sit here and record this video today. They used to be cheaper, but with inflation around the world, it has gone up. So it used to be about $2,400. They're about $2,900 right now, $2,800. So they're almost $3,000. If you bought all 5 modules at $200 each, what's that? $1,000. So the way they're pricing this from a company and a business perspective, I get it. You want to buy the hardware is $3,000. You want to buy the plugins are $1,000, and you could put the plugins on all your tracks. The hardware you have to put in either on one track or another, or one group or one master bus. You have more flexibility with the hardware. I get it. However, it's way overpriced. Do they sound good? Yes. If you want that SSL of Fusion sound with a few more features, but you don't have the money for the hardware, do you buy the $1,000 worth of plugins? Yeah. Can you buy something else that sounds just as good for a fraction of the cost? Yes. What would I buy instead of this? I would probably get the Audio Designs Black Box by Plugin Alliance. That's fantastic. That's, again, you can be part of the subscription service, but SSL also has a subscription plan where you can, and the Black Box has a lot more controls, and to me sounds better than this. But having said all of that, you can get on the subscription plan for $20 a month, or for $24 a month, or $150 a year, and you have access to all the SSL plugins. That is worth it to me. You can cancel at any time. But to buy all these at $200 each, or $1,000 for all 5, I think is way overpriced. But they sound great. So it all depends what is important to you. In the next video, we're going to do a video with all 5 of them on the master bus like you would mimic with the hardware. We're going to listen to that as well. So this is a cool plugin. Check it out. In the last videos that I did before this came out, I said you were not able to demo them because at the time you weren't able to demo them. But I've been told that you can demo these now, I think for 7 days or something. So you can always go out to their website, you could demo them and you can check them out. I think all of the plugins sound good. I just think they're overpriced, but you can check that out for yourself. So I want to thank you for taking a listen to the Transformer plugin, the SSL Fusion plugin bundle. Make sure you click the link in the description box below. You'll see all the previous videos that I did for all the different modules, and coming up soon, you will see all of them in action all together. Now, because you stuck around to the end of the video, as I said at the beginning, I want to give you something else. So again, if this is your first time here, you need to go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and get your free mixing course. It's right on the homepage. You can't miss it. It's a big orange button. You can't miss it. Click on it. No strings attached. It's my gift to you just for visiting Home Recording Made Easy. Now, if you take that course and you want to check out some of my other paid training courses, and I have everything, man. Recording, mixing, mastering, EQ compression, parallel compression, a master class, blah, blah, blah. I want you to take 30% off, 25% off any one of the training courses by using the coupon code YouTube25. That'll take 25% off any training course on my website. So let me know what you think about the SSL Fusion Transformer plugin and the SSL Fusion plugins in general, or if you have the hardware, let me know in the comments below. And until the next video, I've been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Oh, and by the way, mixingmadeeasy.net. Check out that mixing training site in the description box, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.